শুরু করেছো? Okay, so today we will learn the simulation in COMSOL for the deflection of a rotor. Okay, so before that we'll just go to some basic theory. My screen is visible to all?
Yes, sir.
Say this is the shaft, and this is the rotor, and this is the bearing, this is the thing. So this point is the center of the axis. Okay, so my consideration is this side is positive y, and from this side will be negative y. Now here we are considering only one direction, but practically it may happen something else. This is the center of the axis. Now this if the center of mass of the entire assembly, if it is coinciding with the center of this axis, then the vibration will be very less. But due to some reason, say the center of mass is somewhere here, and we know already, we learned this distance is called the eccentricity. Okay, and the entire mass will work through the entire rotor assembly mass. It will work through this point. Say it is C. In that situation, we know there will be some centrifugal force will be developed, which will try to change the shape of the entire rotating assembly, and in different frequency, this mode shape, the shape which is basically, I'm telling the mode shape, that will be getting changed. So we in general, we'll try to find out what will be happening there. Okay, so let us consider this is the center of the axis, and when this kind of thing is happening, so naturally the rotor will be bent like this. Okay, it will be bent like this, and here is your already this is your bearing, and that side also bearing will be there. So your shaft basically your shaft means this will be the situation, and your that center of mass, it will be somewhere here. Okay, now I am considering this distance, the distance by which it is shifted, so that is y, positive y, and this distance is eccentricity E. Now the entire thing it will rotate like this. Entire thing, it will rotate like this. So the centrifugal force which will be developed, it will be like this. So that is, say, Fc. And due to the stiffness of the entire structure, one restoring force will work, which will in this direction. So say it is Fr. So at equilibrium, when the steady state reach, so that time I can tell my restoring force should be equal to the centrifugal force. So what is the restoring force? This is due to the stiffness of the entire rotating assembly, which is K, and the deflection now it is Y. हाँ बहन जी कैसे है? हाँ बढ़िया है। इधर अभी मैं थोड़ा सा बिजी हूँ, मैं थोड़ा आधा घंटा में आपको कॉल करूँ? इसी नंबर में मैं कॉल बैक करता हूँ आधा घंटा। So this restoring force, that will be equal to the centrifugal force. So the centrifugal force is m. Say this is entire things are rotating with an angular speed of omega. So m omega square. Here the radius is y plus e. So this is basically at equilibrium, at steady state, this will happen. Now, if, because we need to find y, so y is equal to m omega square e divided by k k minus m omega square. Now, if you divide it by m, so it will be omega square e divided by k by m minus omega square. And we know this k by m is equal to the natural frequency square. So I can write it omega square e divided by omega n square minus omega square. So now if you divide it by both sides omega n square, so omega by omega n square divided by 1 minus omega by omega n square into the eccentricity. So now here you see there is a term, it is called critical speed. That also we will learn how to compute it for a rotating system. So in this, from this expression, it is very clear that if omega become equal to the natural frequency of the entire system, then the denominator of this expression will become 0. So this y will be huge. That means the speed at which the deflection is very, very high. That means the excitation or the speed of the entire rotating system, when it is matching with the natural frequency of it, then the huge deflection will be there, which will be reflected as vibration. So always when you are designing a rotating system, you have to consider all these things. So here it is very important that the stiffness of the entire system will be playing a major role. So that should be stiff enough so that this kind of thing should not happen. Even though, say, my natural frequency, one natural frequency in, is it at 100 hertz, but my operating frequency is 300 hertz. So I have to cross this 100 hertz very quickly, so that prior to occur any permanent deformation of the system, I will cross. So that things you can conceptualize like this. Who are riding the bike, say old bikes or heavy the bikes, naturally you can tell the old bullet bike, when it will be low RPM, see your entire bike will be experiencing some more vibration. But if it is running high speed, high RPM machine is rotating, it will not happen. That means in some low frequency, this kind of resonance, it is matching with the natural frequency or the critical speed of the shaft. So this is the concept of the critical speed. That means once the operating speed of the rotating system is matched with the natural frequency of the system, then this kind of things will occur and your deflection will be very, very high. Now, such condition, say this, the condition which I have shown you just in this figure here, this kind of situation, it will come when my operating frequency is less than the critical speed or the natural frequency, whatever you can. Now, if your operating speed is greater than the critical frequency, what will happen? That time, for this, the first condition, you see, omega is lesser than omega n. That means the entire quantity, that omega by omega n square, should be less than 1. So the denominator will be positive. So the deflection, that means the sign of y will be positive. So that time, as I told, this direction is positive y. So you will get this kind of shape. So your heavier part, the heavy region of the rotating system, will be outer side of the axis of rotation. That means the unbalanced mass will be at steady state, will be seen, or you can conceptualize that the unbalanced mass will be the lateral side. So this is your axial side, and the positive lateral side, it will be at positive lateral side. So if the operating frequency is lesser than the critical speed, then the heavier side will be at the outer side of the axis. Now, if omega is greater than omega c or omega n, that time this quantity is higher than 1. So your y will be negative. So that time what will happen? So basically this point, it will come that side. Let us try to draw it. So this is my center of the axis. So as I told, it will be negative. So my shaft will be bent like this. And This is the disk. So this is y. This is y. Now my eccentricity here. So this will be my b. So you will get like this. So here is your entire mass. So now you see the heavier part will be the inner side. Okay. Now the third condition, if your omega is very, very greater than your critical speed, what will happen? In some condition, this point will somewhere shift and it will come here in the center of the axis of rotation. So now if these things happen, even though there will be some deflection, but your vibration will be very, very less. So this condition is applicable when the designer will consider this condition when your when it is a high-speed machine like turbine and all these things. Okay. So now let us summarize the thing. What will happen? So here, this is your condition. So we learned the 3 conditions. So if omega is less than omega c, if these things will happen, this thing is there, then the denominator of the expression of deflection is positive. So my deflection will be positive. And as we have seen that the heavier side of the rotating shaft will be at outer region, at outside. Okay, that means the first figure which I have shown you. Now if omega is greater than omega c, critical speed, then as I told, the denominator is negative. So your y will be negative, and this is the condition. And as I told, this is the outer side and this is the inner side. So the heavy region, the heavy part will be the inner side of the system. And if omega is much more higher than the omega c, then even though that is actually basically the modified case of this, even though the y is, that time y will be negative. And you see, if you are increasing further omega higher than the critical speed, then your denominator will become more negative. Okay, so basically this center of the entire center of mass of the entire rotating system will be try to shift, and it will be coinciding with the axis of rotation. So always you remember, if the unbalance, if the center of mass of a rotating system is coinciding with the center of in the axis of rotation, then eventually the vibration, the response will be very, very less. Okay, so this will be the basically this will be the case. Okay, now with this we will conceptualize that. And one more thing here, with that, now we will do one simulation, small simulation. With that, we will try to understand that when this kind of vibration is experienced or this kind of unbalanced mass is there, then what kind of things will happen that we'll try to conceptualize. Now, Pratyusha can share your screen.
Sir, is it visible?
Yeah. You build it from the beginning.
Okay. First, 3D specimen, then solid mechanics, add, then study, then time dependent, done. Then first change the unit of length, millimeter, then geometry, cylinder. First, we will make the disc, and the radius will be 300, and height will be 10. Build selected. Then another cylinder, radius will be 20, and height will be 10. Then go to geometry, boolean and partitions. The difference, first select the larger disk, then select the smaller disk, and build selected. Now it will be one more cylinder. It will be okay. Radius will be 20 and height will be 500. And Z axis will be minus 250. Minus 250. Build selected. Now the bearings. Bearings again, cylinder. Radius will be 25 and height will be 10. Uh, Z axis will be minus 260. There is one bearing built. Then geometry. Again a cylinder. Radius 25. 10. Z will be plus 250. Okay. Then one more last cylinder, that is the unbalanced mass. Cylinder, radius will be 20 and h will be 5 and x will be 240, y is 100 and z is 10. This is the unbalanced mass here. Now geometry, Boolean operation, union. Select all the components. Build selected. Now we'll go to solid mechanics. Fixed constant. Now zoom this part. You have to select these 4 surfaces. This one and this one. 4 surfaces. And then these 4 surfaces. This one, this one, this one, and this one. Then again go to solid mechanics, add volume forces and their rotating frame. Rotating frame. Inframe RPM will be 1.
No, first you select the disk.
Oh, yes, sir. Select the disk. Select the disk. Then add 1000 RPM, third bracket RPM. Then go to materials, built-in materials, structural steel. Add to component. Okay. Then study time dependent. Change the range to 0, 0.01 and 1. Then study default solver solution, time dependent solver. Change the time stepping to 0.01. First there is a manual, then 0.01 is already here. Then go to mesh.
So you add a probe.
Oh, sorry, sir. The probe. Here, go to definitions. Add a probe, domain point probe. There, you have to take a point on the extra mass, that is unbalanced mass. Just zoom in that point. I have to take a point here arbitrarily. Then go to domain point probe expression. Here this symbol. Here go to solid mechanics. Then solid mechanics displacement. Under displacement there is displacement field, and go to X component.
Because here we want to see only one direction displacement.
Double click on that. Now go to mesh. Add extremely fine mesh. Then study and compute.
Here we are, whatever so far we have learned, we will try to see that how from the transient state, when it is reaching the steady state, how the displacement will be there. And later on, using this kind of data, we will try to find out the stiffness or the restoring force of the entire system, because practically to estimate the stiffness of the structure is quite difficult. So normally people will use this kind of simulation to estimate it, and we will match it whatever with the theory analytics, how it is happening. We will benchmark it. Now you see which part we have added the extra mass. You see that area slightly it is deflected.
I'm zooming in this part. Sorry.
You see? So actually these things will happen. This kind of things it will happen in practical. Okay, now you just click on the probe plot 1 and you see this is, there is a once initially they started till 0.25 second, that is the transient state, and after that the entire system, entire rotating system reached the steady state condition, and the deflection is more or less constant. Basically, that is your y, whatever the theory we have learned. So from there, now if you see, if you recall the expression, so there left hand side was y, and right hand side there was the eccentricity omega m. So now if I got y, and if I know the eccentricity, and already omega is known, because here we have given 1000 rpm, so 1000 rpm into pi n by 30, that is your radian per second, and if you put that, then from there we can able to find out the omega n and from omega n we can find out the k, because our total mass will be also known. So this is the procedure in practically for that we will try to learn slowly how to find out the natural frequencies and how to visualize it in practical problem. So that I will take some practical problem and I will try to solve it. So this was all about today's presentation. So now Indrashish can stop the recording.